Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy Brad here from BigMx Radio. Here at the show that it's gonna have to be a solo mission because we're gonna get to it later on in the show. But Hoppo is out of commission right now. He's currently in the hospital and he's dealing with some serious injuries. We're gonna get to that later on today during the show. This is only gonna be about maybe 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes long, depending on how much I ramble. But let's get straight into it. Some of the things that we want to talk about here in the motocross community is SMX is coming to a halt. Feels like the playoffs just started because they did. Those 2 weeks ago, we kicked this whole thing off. It all comes to the end tomorrow, and that's Phil Nicoletti's career as well. It's crazy to think he is one of I think only two guys on the line that raced as a professional on carbureted motorcycles. The other one, of course, being Kyle Chisholm, who turned pro, I believe, in 2004 or 2005. They were definitely carbureted at the time. It wasn't until I think it was the 2007 450 from Suzuki of all brands that came out with the first EFI. That might have been 2008. Doesn't matter. Either way, they were for a very short window of time. Suzuki was actually ahead of the curve as far as development for 450s. Believe it or not, that does go back 15 years from now, ago, but plus. But anyway, I want to do more stuff on YouTube. I'm getting better at it. I hope to anyway. So let's just kind of go through some of this stuff and see where we end up. I'm going to share my screen from PowerPoint, and then we can actually go through some of these. Uh, this could be a lot easier. So let's go straight right there. Boom. Boom. All right, perfect. So that's BigMx Radio. That's my logo. For those who obviously recognize it, it is the Bull Taco logo, which I mix things around a little bit. Big MX, of course. My initials are BIG. That's why it's BigMx Radio to begin with. And the reason why I wanted it Big MX Radio, I wanted it to be somewhat personal, so my initials are in there. And then I also just wanted to create a bigger media sphere. I started this thing 10 years ago. At the time, there was only two podcasts that existed. There was DMXS and everything that Mathis was doing. And then even at that time, Mathis was only doing the race review show, the pulp show, and your odd podcast with industry and professionals and past racers and whatnot. He didn't have the myriad of shows that he now has. It's actually become quite the network. So I wanted to add to it back then, and I think that I'm still adding to it now. Hopefully, you guys have been with me the whole time. If you just started watching / listening, that's awesome. Glad to have you. And yeah, sharing the sport and my passion for it, sharing stories, bringing things to light, doing some analysis from my own point of view. I'd like to think that I'm a little bit of a knowledgeable individual within the sport. I have been doing it for 10 years now. Am I wrong about some things sometimes? Absolutely. But yeah, we just keep plugging away, keep doing this. It's somehow turned into a full-time job for me, which is a huge honor for me to be able to do. So yeah, let's just get into some stuff here. Let's spin the clocks back to 2016. Answer Gear, Rockstar Energy Drink was on Yamaha. Deegan 38 was one of the main sponsors over at the Star Racing Yamaha team, and Deegan 38 is probably just as prominent then as it is now. Of course, now it's Danger Boy rather than a company that was sort of I think the Deegan 38 was I want to say that was a Method Race Wheels co-branding or a licensing deal that existed, or it was some sort of it was a truck bolt-on manufacturer that sort of thrown some help to the Star Racing team at the time. Answer Gear. It's been a long time since Answer had a good number of racers in the sport. They were, of course, the Tucker Rocky you see there on the jersey. That was distributed solely by Tucker, and of course that company went out of business after many years of distributing hard parts, gear, and you name it. But let's just get to the guy who's in the photo. So Cooper Webb, at this time, this is the tail end of 2016. He's on his way to winning a championship, if I'm not mistaken. He ended up winning both championships that year before moving to the 450 class in 2017. And I hope that this guy shows up to more Across the Nations. I really do. This Cooper Webb was fierce. This Cooper Webb was a competitor, and you know what? He still is. He's now a two-time Supercross champion, doing so for KTM. I'm really impressed with this guy. I think the Yamaha is going to complement him very well. Adjusting to the 250F, I know there's going to be a lot of talk about how hard it is to adjust to that. He's going to have time to ride the bike. Obviously, I wouldn't imagine he's on it this week, although maybe a little bit leading into obviously this weekend at SMX. Maybe not the most important thing on his schedule as far as preparing for more Cross the Nations. Like in my heart and in my mind, Motocross Nations is one of the most preeminent, biggest events of the year. It has so much prestige to it. It's every nation's like basically pulling their racers together, racing for the country that you represent, where you were born and when your citizenship. And I think that weighs a lot on a guy like Cooper. He's a very patriotic person, and the last time that he went to Motocross Nations back, I believe it was 2016 as well. I think he left there wanting a little bit of a do-over, and justifiably so. And he's going to get that opportunity. They've got a 250F crated up and shipped over to England. They're gonna unbox that thing, and I think he's gonna rip. Like Star Racing Yamaha jumping on board to send the bike over there. I assume that it's Deegan's bike, or it could be any number of the guys who ride for that team. They're gonna send over a pretty fresh looking motorcycle. I don't know V number. What number will he be? I don't even know what numbers the Team USA are supposed to be. I guess Plessinger's 24. So that must mean Cooper's like 23 or 25, somewhere in there anyway. But anyway, I'm looking forward to it. I'm stoked that he wants to step up and race. And obviously, like Deegan needed to get the hardware out of his wrist. That's been well documented. It was documented prior to the season. The fact that he was able to race for the way he did is pretty impressive. I think he's going to wrap up the the Super Motocross Championship in tomorrow. But yeah, like honestly, and we'll get to him a little bit, like the SMX side of things in a few minutes here. But I want to focus on just the fact that Cooper Webb putting his hand up and racing for his country. That's awesome. Um, it's like it to be able to race for your country is such an amazing honor, and I think that he does so with a lot of pride in his heart. I think he's going to ride extremely well. And yeah, he's kind of like playing with house money because like the Team USA was kind of in a bad spot with Hymas, his knee injury flaring up. He doesn't have an ACL in the one knee. That's going to be a little bit touch and go. And although I'm sure it broke his heart to not be able to continue on and to race, I give a huge hats off to Chance Hymas is saying, hey, my knee's not 100%, but I want to go race for my country. And it didn't work out as well as he would have hoped as far as getting over there and being able to compete. But I certainly think that he's going to get another opportunity in the future, and I certainly hope so. Chance, his whole family, Chris, amazing people. I'd imagine that even the Bruff family from Mesquite were probably planning on heading on over to cheer on the 48 over here in the U.S. I don't know what number you would have ran. I would imagine it's probably 23. I think it goes 23, 24, 25 for that team, like how it works as far as the seeding goes. But anyway, hats off to Chase, or Chance rather. I think he's going to have an amazing career, and it's a bummer to not have him racing for Team USA. But I think that as a substitution or someone to fill in that spot, to take up that spot for him and fly the flag, Cooper Webb is about as great a representative as I can think of. I think he's going to ride extremely well. Let's go straight into the 250 SMX. This is Danger Boy's championship to win. I think he needs to get 12th or better, if I'm not mistaken. Like, and then things can happen. Like, if he happens to go like just DNF or twists a wrist the wrong way or does an ankle or something like that, that's why we have to race these races. But he's certainly in a position where he can ride within his limits, and I fully expect him to just go out and win. Hayden Deegan has been the class of the field all year long so far, indoors and out. Even though he didn't get a championship in the in Supercross, I think he was the best Supercross rider in the coast. You don't have like sometimes the best rider or the most talented rider doesn't end up winning the championship. We've seen that a number of times in the 450 class and the 250 class. I firmly believe that Hayden Deegan is the best 250 rider in North America right now, or the racing in North America. How he stacks up, or how he would have stacked up against the guys over from Europe, we're not going to find that out this year. Perhaps we find that out next year before he moves to the 450s. But either way, I think that this is his championship to win, or championship to lose, rather. He's in the driver's seat, and I would not be surprised to see him go 1-1 on the weekend, put a big old stamp on it. Maybe he ghost rides the bike then, but either way, he is looking very good to return as champion for the SMX and 250s, and that would be the first time that happening. Of course, this is only the second year doing the SMX championship, and to have someone assert themselves last year and then back it up again, let's just say I'm impressed. 450 class, it is now a winners take all. I missed my my slideshow here that I've so expertly put together. A number of these photos are done by Align Media, by the way. Those guys are amazing. Mike, everybody over at Align are fantastic people. Hope they don't mind me using their photos for this. And if they do, then I'll stop using them. And go to the races and get my own damn photos, which I should be doing. But Hunter Lawrence is in the driver's seat, but he has a very slim lead over his brother Jet. And of course, Chase Sexton is right there as well. Essentially, if any of these guys win, they win the championship. Triple points works exactly that way for this championship. And honestly, if I'm a betting man, I got to go with Jet Lawrence. Like the fact that he's come back from the shoulder and the thumb, and that he's won a race. He's come in second, I believe. And just he's looked so good coming back from that injury that I have to like smart money is on a guy who has won the majority of the races that he's raced as a 450 rider. Like I obviously coming off of some momentum, Hunter, like he just won his first premier race 6 days ago. Is he in a good position to win again? Absolutely he is. But will he? That's another question. Like backing I don't know if anybody who's watching this has ever won the first moto of a particular race. The most nervous that you are is the rest of that day, because you're like, now I got to go back it up. So it's like, and that can kind of put some wind in your sails, and it can also put some pressure on you. So we're gonna see how it all folds out. My money's on Jet Lawrence, but I would not at all be surprised to see Chase Sexton be able to rise to the occasion. Has he had a propensity to hit the ground before? Absolutely. But I think in this situation, he maybe learned some stuff from last year when he went down in that sand section. This track is going to be a lot different. Maybe it complements him. We don't know that, but the fact is, all three of these guys have a chance at winning this championship. I think it's going to come down to a start. These super motocross tracks seem to be a little bit difficult to pass on. It was just how high speed they are. But yeah, I think obviously we're going to find out tomorrow. Will the number 4 be able to move his way up? Will Jet Lawrence like basically reassert himself, go back to back, and make it back-to-back championships in both classes? That would be wild to see. Or will Hunter Lawrence go from not winning a single premier event 6 days ago to now being your 2024 SMX champ? That can happen. So that'd be pretty cool to see. And it'll also be interesting to see the sort of the dynamic between Jet and Hunter. If going into the last race, it's just 1 and 2, and they happen to have a table set for 2, how does that go? Like, we've seen races where Hunter gets the best of Jet. We've seen races where Jet gets the better of Hunter, and probably more of those. But regardless, I think both of these guys are going to race tooth and nail. They're going to race each other clean. And if that's the case, the fans at home, and myself included, will be absolutely treated to a knockdown, drag-out war between these two guys. And I think that it'll be pretty impressive. So you guys can let me know in the comments who you think is going to take home that championship and maybe why you feel that way. It is a winner's take all, and I'm excited to see it happen. So I mentioned it off the top of the show. Andrew Hobson, otherwise known as Hoppo, he went down hard at a vet race in Glen Helen. He ended up getting ran over not once, not twice, but by 8 people apparently, where he sustained a lot of damage to his ribs and internal organs. He's still in hospital. I had to put him in a medically induced coma. So he's a little bit out of it right now. He's on a lot of pain meds, and obviously with all of that comes a lot of medical bills. I'm not privy to the situation of Hoppo's health insurance and all that fun stuff. I'm sure that sort of thing will kick in if he in fact did have some coverage. But all I do know is that a GoFundMe has been set up to help him. I believe the goal was $10,000, and it's sitting at about $1,400 right now. So if you can spare a few dollars, any little bit helps. Hoppo is a shirt on or a heart on his sleeve kind of guy who would give the shirt off of his back. It wasn't just a week and a half ago that he hosted a friend of mine that he'd never met before and welcomed him into his house, took him riding at what was it called? What's that track? Elsinore, Lake Elsinore. He took him to Lake Elsinore, let him ride his motorcycle, opened his home, and yeah, 4 days later, he finds himself in a hospital bed with his son Tyler, handling everything on the medical side of things, and he's been an absolute rock star through this. So if you're able to help at all, I truly, truly appreciate it. We're also going to get some t-shirts together for sale in support of Hoppo. All the proceeds will go towards him and supporting him throughout his recovery. It sounds like it'll be a couple of months before he's 100%. I have gotten some updates from Tyler, but not a ton as far as like the day-to-day progress. Apparently he was standing earlier this week, so the coma is obviously done, but he's still kind of dealing with a lot of pain, and he's clearly not 100% whatsoever. So if you're able to help, that'd be a huge, I'd be very grateful for that. We're putting together some things for him. There's going to be a ride day, I believe, at Kahia Creek in the next month or so to sort of raise money for him as well. So yeah, Hoppo, we're thinking about you, man. Like, get well. Like the fact that you can see in the picture, he is a fit individual. He spends a lot of time on his mountain bike, and I truly believe that the level of fitness he has is what allowed him to survive, period, and is going to allow him to recover as quickly as he is recovering. So yeah, that's honestly that's the show, guys. I don't know how long that was, maybe 15-20 minutes, not entirely sure. But like right, like just to recap quickly, Cooper Webb, like kudos to you, man. Hats off for stepping up for your country, filling in last minute, getting on this, all hands on deck. Hats off to Star Racing Yamaha for supporting this as well. Everybody over at Team USA, Paul Parabinos and the entire crew, those guys are all, like I said, all hands on deck. They're going to make sure that Team USA is put in the best position possible to get the best result they can. Will they win? Who knows? That's why we race the races. There's going to be some other teams that are bringing some formidable opponents. You know, Team GB is going to have some interesting racers. If I'm not mistaken, Tommy Searle's back on there. France is going to be fast. The Belgian team is going to be fast. They've got the Coonan brothers as well as Everts. So those kids are definitely on the rise. Wouldn't be surprised to see them in the top 5, maybe even the podium. And of course, I will be on location in Matterley Basin in less than 2 weeks. I'm really excited about that. I will be vlogging it. I will be getting as much footage as I can. And I'm excited. So if you guys want to support me, BigMx Radio, or anything quite like that, I do have my link tree in the description for this video. And yeah, you guys can click through there and shop the BigMx Radio the clothing that's on there, as well as you guys can yeah, like just support the sponsors. Like you can save 25% on backyard designs with BigMx 24 at checkout. Half of your purchase right there, or BigMx 2024 at Luxon MX saves you 10% off of a set of triple clamps, or they have their linkage components as well. Spend $1,000 with those guys, and you're going to save yourself $100. So it's 10% off discount, which is pretty solid. Same thing with Guts Racing. BigMx 20 saves you 20% off of your purchase, whether you're getting a full seat or just a seat cover. Yeah, like go to those websites, save some money. You could also do the same thing with Racetech. Mention Racetech when you're ordering your products, save 15%. And then I believe it's a 10% discount on anything W wheels. If you happen to call them up, order a set of wheels, and mention BigMx Radio, you're going to save some money. So I'll put the whole list of them is on the link tree, but I just wanted to bring you guys' attention to that, as well as I will also have a link to Hoppo's GoFundMe, because the guy needs some help. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, hopefully you'll want to share it with a like-minded individual who also loves motocross. And yeah, hopefully it's Friday right now, so I would hope that it's in the afternoon. You're packing your gear bag and getting set to go ride and get that throttle therapy. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care.